and the one place you can go to find peace of mind. These are not just receptors or houses, these are people's homes. Do you have any wind turbines going right next to your homes? Would you like to live for months on end with daily construction noise, dust, and devastation? I work nights and drive for a living. If I can't sleep, I can't work safely. The last thing I need is to fall asleep behind the wheel and kill someone or myself. This affects my livelihood as well. Turbines will be here to stay, right next to many of our homes and schools for the next 25 years, for next generations to deal with, and once they go up, they're here to stay. I guess somebody woke up one day and said, let's put up these industrial skyscrapers in people's backyards, whether they like it or not, and make a rural agricultural community accept industrial building and industrial structures. How is that fair? Oh, and by the way, if they don't want them, tell them they are wrong, they have no rights, and they're definitely out of their minds for disagreeing. Please stop trying to destroy our way of life out here. These are not little fans you put on your side tables. They're over 500-foot massive structures. And last time I checked, if something isn't popular in society, it is stopped or changed. For example, TV shows that don't get ratings are taken off the air. If automakers can't sell a certain make of car, they ditch it or make drastic changes to it. Well, industrial wind turbines are not popular here in West Lincoln, so don't put them here or anywhere for that matter. We are not the only community in Ontario that wants nothing to do with them or the so-called money that comes with them. Now Wayne Fluid is not alone. Plimpton, Wyoming near Sarnia has passed their 2-kilometer setback too. Nor are we the only people in the world who are protesting them as new energy sources in their communities. The people who have them are speaking out, at least the ones who aren't gagged by the wind companies, about what it is like living with these monsters. They can't all be wrong, and they have nothing to gain by abandoning their homes because they can't live with turbines. They still have to pay for their home, they just can't live in it. So it's a loss all around for them. We need to listen and learn from what others are going through and stop this nonsense called green energy, aka industrial wind turbines. Your hands are only tied if you want them to be. It's just as easy to say, I can do this, as it is to say, I can't do anything. We don't know if it's illegal. It's going to court to be determined. I find it hard to believe a judge is going to rule against a municipal government standing up for the rights of its citizens, which is its legal obligation, in favor with a contractor who only cares about making money. Besides, if 3 municipalities stand united, it will be a much better chance that we can win. You're mayor of West Lincoln. You are council members of a municipal government, not a cashier in a candy store. Use your powers, which you do have, and step up to the plate for us. If we can't live with turbines, we shouldn't have to move. We were here first and have every right to not want to live next to giant skyscrapers. If I was looking to buy a house, I wouldn't buy one anywhere near a turbine. Why don't we have the same right to not want to live next to something loud and dangerous as the people who don't like the sound of dirt bikes, the smell of manure, or have too many flies, etc.? We're not uninformed or out to get the wind companies. We're only protecting our given rights to live safely and peacefully. The turbines aren't even here yet, and people are living in distress just at the thought of what it's going to do to their lives. But one thing that I realize is that the wind companies and the provincial government didn't make a 550-meter setback because it's a safe distance. They made it because if the setbacks were any further, they wouldn't be able to build them where they wanted to. I don't know why we've become so possessed with going green if it means slaughtering millions of birds, jeopardizing the health and safety of humans, and destroying rural communities. I do believe that this matter is provincial, but it is coming into West Lincoln, which the municipal government is responsible for, so really and truly, it most definitely is council's responsibility to take corrective action. We have the tools to fight this in court if it goes that far, not only with the health studies or noise levels, but with the voices of the people. If you had any doubt before at how many residents of West Lincoln and surrounding areas do not want turbines, but if they have to have them would feel safer with a 2-kilometer setback, I hope with all my heart that the result of this vote helps you make the right decision. It shouldn't have amazed me, but it did, how these people are like me, desperate to find a way to stop these god-awful things from invading our neighborhoods. The votes started pouring in non-stop first through emails, and then people started bringing the flyers to my door. We could see the stress, question, and maybe hope in their faces. I sent out flyers through the post office to all residents in West Lincoln. This gave everyone an opportunity to voice their opinion on a yes or no to the 2-kilometer setback. The results from the votes are 1,231 people voted yes to the 2-kilometer setback, 17 people voted no turbines, period, 22 people voted no to the 2-kilometer setback, and people have still been sending their votes in. The role of council through the Municipal Act is a good starting point as it outlines the role of municipal council. It is the role of council, A, to represent the public and to consider the well-being and interests of the municipality. Previously, councils generally delegated the only administrative matters to committees. Now the Municipal Act provides for broad delegation of council's legislative powers and duties to a committee of council. The role of a councillor. As a councillor, you have a representative, a policy-making, and a stewardship role to play in your municipality. Often these roles will overlap. You will be called on to consider and make decisions on issues that will sometimes be complex and controversial. Most of these decisions will have long-term consequences for your municipality that extend beyond your four-year term of office and should be made in the context of your municipality's directions for the long-term health and welfare of your community. The Municipal Act provides municipalities with broad permissive powers to give them flexibility in meeting their community's expectations and fulfilling their responsibilities. A municipality has broad permissive powers to pass bylaws respecting the following matters: economic, social, and environmental well-being of the municipality, health, safety, and well-being of persons, protection of persons and property, including consumer protection. Bylaws and resolutions. The powers of your municipality are generally exercised by either bylaw or resolution. Bylaws are the primary form of action. Section 5 of the Municipal Act requires that, except where otherwise provided, the powers of council must be exercised by bylaw. Many council decisions are also recorded in a resolution, which is a simple expression of decision or wish of council. Resolutions are submitted in the form of a motion and adopted by majority vote. The formalities for adopting a resolution are not as strict as those for passing a bylaw. Resolutions usually deal with routine, administrative, and internal management matters. You should also note that resolutions may be used to record your council's view on a specific issue. Such resolutions often express the municipality's position on various issues or concerns about existing government policy, regulations, or funding. They may call for changes in the provincial-municipal relationship. After adoption, they are sent to the appropriate government agency, association, or member of parliament. The powers of your council are exercised by bylaw for matters or for actions that will affect the public. If in doubt, passing a bylaw is always the safest approach, since courts have on occasion invalidated council actions that were expressed only by resolution. Ultravirus. Under Section 273 of the Municipal Act, any person may apply to the Superior Court of Justice to quash a bylaw in whole or in part for illegality. In the past, many bylaws were found to be passed without authority, a legal doctrine sometimes called ultravirus, because the municipality did not have a specific authority to pass the bylaw, and courts tended to interpret municipal legislation in a restrictive manner. But the Municipal Act provides municipalities with broad powers to allow a municipality to govern its affairs as it considers appropriate and to enhance its ability to respond to municipal issues. It is possible that the courts will be less likely to quash a bylaw because it is ultravirus. Recent court decisions appear to support this view. Public interest. If a municipal power is exercised only to serve the interests of private persons, the courts would normally quash the action. It is council, however, that determines what is in the public interest. Now that I realize your reasonableness under Section 272 of the Municipal Act, a bylaw passed by council within its powers and in good faith cannot be quashed or reviewed by the courts because of unreasonableness in its provisions. Now that I realize your responsibility as council, I do not feel it is unreasonable request to ask that you enforce a 2-kilometer setback bylaw for safety reasons. 1, 550 meters is too close because we are within the strike zone if a fire or mechanical failure should happen. 2, 550 meters is a distance from the center of my home, but the turbine is closer to other areas of my property. This restricts me from having full use of my property due to ice throw, shadow flicker, noise, and stray voltage. 3, health effects, which you're more than familiar with. 4, recommended setbacks are at least 8 times the height of the industrial wind turbine, and I've attached safe setbacks with my presentation. 5, Enbridge sign on an end of project, a farm, warns for people to stay back 305 meters from turbines during icing conditions. Some of these turbines are closer than that to the road and our property lines. Insurance companies have been canceling policies where industrial wind turbines are erected. As for council's responsibility to represent the public, we have spoken loud and clear, and it is a fact that this is what we want. No turbines preferably, but we'll accept a 2-kilometer setback bylaw. So my ask is, will you put the 2-kilometer setback in place? I just have 2 comments from people that sent in to finish my presentation.
If you would hurry, yes, actually you're over time.
It's short. We understand that this bylaw, if implemented by West Lincoln Council, will probably incur legal costs, which will be subsequently included in our municipal property taxes. We agree to pay these increases willingly. Thank you for initiating this petition. The other one was, my family came here to West Lincoln in the year 1794. This is the worst tragedy to ever happen here in West Lincoln. Our real estate values will drop from 25 to 40%, and health effects such as noise, humming, stray voltage. We are definitely against these wind turbines in West Lincoln. We need a minimum setback of 2 kilometers from any residence or buildings that we own. They seem to have 2 farms where they were able to have the turbines if they wanted, but they were qualified to have them, but they were opposed to the turbines, and they said no. So. Thank you for your presentation. I just wanted to know if you will be addressing at all the fact of passing the 2-kilometer setback. And I ask of whether you will be addressing.
The 2-kilometer setback is not on the agenda. There are other matters pertaining to wind turbines
I see. I guess just as part of my presentation, that was part of the reason why the votes were, and that was what my ask was, if you will put the 2-kilometer setback into place.
I'm at the pleasure of committee, and certainly there's opportunity for discussion of this either tonight or a future committee meeting. All right? Thank you.